Welcome back, everybody, to 31 2000s horror movies for Halloween, where I'm counting down my favorite horror movies from 2000 to 2009. We're going back to France with this one, with one of the most disturbing and depressing horror movies to come out of the 2000s. At number 20, we have Martyrs. This is a movie that could easily make the top 10, but it's lower on the list because it's a movie that's not easy to rewatch. There are some disturbing movies that I can easily rewatch, some I can't. This is one of them that you have to be in the right frame of mind for Martyrs. This is one of those movies where you don't come home after a hard day of work and saying, oh, well, I'm going to relax for the rest of the night, let's pop in Martyrs. No, you have to be in the right frame of mind for Martyrs. So the movie opens with this young girl running away from this building. She's been badly beaten. We don't know exactly what happened to her. She eventually gets taken into this orphanage, and she befriends this other girl there, and they end up growing up together. And then, after the opening sequence, the girl that we saw running has these awful memories and these awful nightmares. The opening sequence, I think, is one of the scariest things ever. But anyway, so the first half of this movie is a revenge movie, where the girl from the opening is now grown up, and we see this family eating dinner, and they seem like this average everyday family, and then this woman busts in and kills everybody with a shotgun.
Dad? What the hell was that? Get here, kids!
So her friend is with her, and is trying to help her clean all this up. Meanwhile, the girl from the beginning is dealing with horrible memories, horrible trauma, and we don't even know why she killed this family. It's made very vague of what's happening. All we know is she wanted revenge against them for some reason. Again, I won't spoil too much here, but then we have this horrifying scene in a bathroom. That, for me, is the scariest scene in the movie. That terrifies me. There are disturbing moments in this movie, but in terms of scares, that's the scariest scene for me. When I watched it, that movie was just that scene was just so fucking intense. And this is another one where it's hard to talk about without spoiling too much, but for those who have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. The second act, the movie becomes a torture film, where one of the girls is tied down and treated very badly, beaten very badly. It's depressing and very, very hard to watch. I won't get into why it's happening, but from the title of the movie, you can probably guess. But yeah, this is one of those movies where once you're done watching it, you hate the world. You're just wallowing in misery the entire time. It's French horror for you. But yeah, this is another entry into the French extreme movement, and this is one of the most extreme movies in the French extreme movement. Not the easiest one to watch, of course, but it earns the title of French extreme. But you gotta hand it to this film for being willing to go there. This is definitely one of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen. For those of you who are about to say, what about a Serbian film? I still have not watched a Serbian film. Everybody has their limits, and a Serbian film, I'm not going to say it here, but for those who have watched it, you know, there's a scene in that movie that I don't want to see, and that's why I've held off watching it for so long. I'm hoping to sit back and suffer through it sometime, but there's one moment that I don't want to see. Everybody has their limits. That's mine. But Martyrs is a lot of people's limits. Yeah, I can understand people not wanting to watch this movie. I can understand people not wanting to see this movie. I had a friend a long time ago, like shortly after I graduated high school, who wanted to see more extreme horror movies, so I let her see Martyrs, and afterwards she sent me a message, and all it said was, I just finished watching Martyrs. Why? And that's the number one word you can use to describe this movie. Why? Because that's all you're thinking throughout the movie. It's just why? Why am I here? Why am I putting myself through this? Why do I have to do this? I could be doing so much better things with my time right now. Why? But you're hanging on because it is a good movie, and it is, like, I like when a horror movie is fun. I like when a horror movie makes me feel happy. I like when a movie makes me feel sad. I like when a movie makes me feel horrible. The intended feeling of Martyrs is to make you feel bad, and you feel bad after watching it. But there's just so many, like, the first act is suspenseful, disturbing, and creepy, and then it gets into tragic territory, and then it gets into just sad territory. That's why it's not, Martyrs is not higher on the list, because it's not a movie that I can watch too often. You definitely have to mentally prepare yourself before going into this one. And most of the time I like disturbing movies, and there are definitely, like I said, there are disturbing movies that I can rewatch, but Martyrs is a disturbing movie that I have a hard time rewatching. I can understand people never wanting to see this movie. I can understand people hating this movie because of how it is. You can not like Martyrs all you want, but Martyrs is not a bad movie. You can dislike Martyrs, but you can't really say it's a bad film. It's very well done. This is one that I actually, yeah, if you've seen Martyrs, you all know what I'm talking about, but if you have not seen Martyrs and you're debating on seeing it for Halloween, do some research first. This is one that I would look into first before watching it, especially for Halloween, especially if you want to have a fun time during the Halloween season. This is not a movie to watch. But if you do want to, like, see something that's legitimately good and legitimately disturbing and off-putting a lot, but in a good way, I would recommend Martyrs. But definitely look into it first before checking out. If you're looking to have more fun this Halloween season, I'd say skip Martyrs, but if you do want to check it out eventually, then yeah, give it a watch. I would say watch it around Christmas. That would be a good time to watch Martyrs.